Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is your boy, Willie Does Wrestling, back at it again with a brand new video. And today, listen, obviously a couple of weeks ago to around a month ago, I made a video being like, it's time to be honest about AEW and Tony Khan. And that was mainly about, the Ray Fenix situation and, just mainly the same shit that I said about Tony Khan. A lot of people, though, obviously have noticed that I haven't really criticized Triple H a whole lot on this channel. And there's a big reason for that. Triple H, for the most part, has had a near-perfect run in WWE when he was head of creative. However, I don't know about you, but I have noticed in the past few weeks, actually few months, I want to say ever since SummerSlam, I've noticed a lot of flaws, and I've started putting my criticizing glasses on a hell of a lot more for Triple H than I used to. I've compiled a top 5 list. This video is going to be me talking about Triple H's biggest flaws as a booker and give some criticism on the current product that is WWE. I know a lot of people might not really like this video. I know there's going to be a lot of people that might not really agree with this video. This might be a bit of a controversial one on my part. I don't care. I want to get these feelings out there because I've noticed for the past couple of weeks in terms of WWE programming, it has gotten a lot more stale, a lot more boring, and everything like that, and there is a lot of things to talk about. Could be a short one, could be a long one, so ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy the ride. So, I compiled a top 5 list. Problems with Triple H's booking. Number 5, too much promos. This category is mainly focused on the past few weeks, more particularly ever since Monday Night Raw has gone to Netflix. Ever since Monday Night Raw debuted on Netflix earlier this month, January 6th. I have found on Monday Night Raws there are way less in-ring, action going on, and there's a lot of promos. Or, ever since WWE has gone on Netflix, really ever since the commercial breaks, because here in Canada, the potential future 51st state, we don't get commercials on Netflix. There's a lot more of those interviews where they show the arena and they show the crowd, and then people like CM Punk or Karrion Kross or The Miz or The New Day or something like that would be out there, and they'd be like, oh, I can't wait to be in action, or, oh, the Royal Rumble is in a couple of weeks, man, I'm going to win the Rumble, all that jazz, and there's so much promos that it's just like, bro, this is a 3-hour show, originally a 3-hour show. Obviously, now with Raw being on Netflix, some shows can be 3 hours, some shows can be 2.5 hours, like the past 2 weeks have been. Some shows, like the Raw on Netflix, could even go overtime and be 3 hours and 15 minutes. There's no set run time for Netflix, and that's not a criticism, but again, if you are going to have your shows be 2.5 hours, don't focus so much on promos. Do good in-ring action. And if you're going to do promos, do something to really build up your future events, because it only seems to me, and maybe this is just going to be an issue for the first month or so that Raw is on Netflix, it just seems to me that they are trying to expose the newer fans to who the fuck CM Punk is, or who Ludwig Kaiser is, or who Karrion Kross is. We don't want that. We're here to watch wrestling. We're not here to watch talking. And last night, on our Monday Night Raw watch-along that we did with Dylan, Wolf, and Asa in No Bones About Wrestling, I made this joke. If you want to watch wrestling and no promos, really, mostly wrestling and a little bit of promos, watch AEW. If you want to watch So many promos and little in-ring wrestling. Watch WWE. That's really what it seems to be. Then again, this is mainly a Netflix issue. That's why this is number 5. But I just had to talk about it in terms of that. Number 4, champions not being booked well. And by that, it's going to go to the point that's next on this. This is mainly towards PLEs. Most championships never see the light of day when it comes to pay-per-views. Or they're only in a pay-per-view for a certain number of months. You know, like the United States Championship. Or the World Heavyweight Championship. Champions are not being booked well. I mean, look at the Judgment Day. They had a 150 plus day reign as tag team champions, and when you look at that on paper, you might think, oh shit, that's a fucking great reign. They probably faced a ton of adversity. No. They waited until the 100-day mark to have their first defense of the tag team titles. Shinsuke Nakamura just surpassed 50 days as United States Champion, and only fairly recently, on the most recent episode of SmackDown, he finally defended his United States Championship against LA Knight. Not most recent, a week ago, against LA Knight, and it resulted in a disqualification. What the fuck are we doing? If you're going to have Shinsuke Nakamura be a champion, at least treat him like one. Gunther's stock is dead. I've said this to numerous people, and people look at me as if I'm fucking retarded, but Gunther's presentation as World Heavyweight Champion, it does not scream top guy. It screams, I have big shiny belt, and that's it. Barely defends it. When he is, it's against the same people. Sure, now he's going to Saturday night's main event in a couple of days, and he is going to face Jey Uso. But that's about it. The women's tag team titles are dead. Honestly, those women's tag team championships should have been scrapped years ago. You could date back to my channel. Late 2022, I was talking about this same subject. That the women's tag team titles do not mean jack diddly squat. Those women's tag team titles should have been in the shredder years ago. Years and years ago. Braun Breaker, I don't know what they're doing with the guy. Braun Breaker is supposed to be the future. The future of WWE. We barely even see him. 3 weeks. Raw has been on Netflix. I don't remember anything Braun Breaker did on a Raw on Netflix. I think he did an interview. That's it. The War Raiders are tag team champions, and what's their first title defense? Well, they beat Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Their first title defense is going to be against JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. Great originality. Meanwhile, we have a tag team division full of very stacked tag teams, and since babyfaces are now champions, and we have a division full of mainly heel tag teams, that leaves a lot more room for competition like the Creed Brothers, or the New Day, or the Final Testament. Not them. Not them, just the Judgment Day. Judgment Day this, Judgment Day that. And that also leaves me Rhea Ripley. Sure, she's the champion again. Cool. She's facing Nia Jax. A SmackDown talent. A SmackDown talent. Which just goes to show how Triple H feels about the Raw Women's Division. Nia Jax can show up wherever she wants, apparently. What's the point of Bayley announcing she's a full-time Monday Night Raw talent now, when Nia Jax, who's a SmackDown talent, can show up anywhere she wants and gets a women's championship match just because, what? She attacked Rhea Ripley backstage. Great storytelling. That's getting me hyped for Saturday night's main event. It's getting me hyped for Saturday night's main event. Monday Night Raw has so many great women too. I don't have much hope for the Women's Intercontinental Championship either. It seems like the only championship they really care about is Cody Rhodes and the WWE Championship. But honestly, and I love Cody Rhodes, don't get me wrong, I love Cody Rhodes. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, if not my favorite of the current roster in WWE. But Kevin Owens is carrying that storyline. Carrying that storyline is Kevin Owens with the Winged Eagle Championship. Next, number 3, I got 5-match pay-per-views. Much to my point, number 4, this hurts a lot of the championships that they don't get that big pay-per-view spot. The only times that WWE pay-per-views, premium live events, whatever you want to call them, have more than 5 matches is if it's a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. And WWE is considering now, well, this report was made, I think, over a month ago. WWE are aiming more pay-per-views to be 2 nights. The Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. SummerSlam and WrestleMania are the only ones that's really announced as of right now to be 2 nights. And it's like, why? So are we going to get 5 matches each for both nights? Or are you actually going to book a card that's like 7 matches a night? What are we doing? Because SummerSlam, I think they had about 7 or 8. WrestleMania, they had 7 matches a night. And that's it. Royal Rumble last year, we only had 4 matches. Bad Blood, we had 5. Like every other pay-per-view is only 5 matches. Or Survivor Series, we had 4. It was the 2 War Games matches, and then it was the IC Triple Threat and the US between Knight and Nakamura. That was it. 5-match pay-per-views hurt, not only wrestlers being on the card, different wrestlers being on the card, but it also makes, the wait times in between matches so much longer. I forget what pay-per-view it was. I'm pretty sure it was Survivor Series. There were those Twitter accounts that, the WWE stopwatch or something like that. And they were like, oh my God, like we waited fucking 30 minutes in between, let's say, the IC triple threat between Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser before the men's War Games match, the Bloodline v. Bloodline match. Why? If you are going to make your shows 3.5 hours or 4 hours or something like that, fill it with matches. Do the AEW route if you have to. Do a match, and then right after that match is done, go back to the next match. But oh no, we need to give more people time to breathe after a U.S. Championship match between LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. What if you got to go and take a bathroom break? You can pause the show. It's on Netflix now. There's a pause button. There you go. Rest in peace, headphone users. 5-match pay-per-views are honestly stupid and dumb. And I know back in the Vince McMahon era, like more like the 2019, 2020, it was like, oh, why do we need all these matches on the card? And all these shows are going to be 4 to 5 hours. So, especially title matches. I mean, like, do you guys ever find it funny where they'll put like X amount of titles on the show, and then the titles that aren't booked for the show, they're booked for the Raw before or the SmackDown before, like mainly the U.S. title. The U.S. title and the World Heavyweight title have been victims of this so many times. And it hurts those championships too, more particularly the World Heavyweight Championship. You want Gunther to look like a big deal, treat him like one. We all know he is perfectly capable of having a great title reign, considering the fact he had the Intercontinental Championship for damn near 2 years. What are we doing? 5-match pay-per-views hurt the shows. 5 matches. No, don't do that. I feel like 7 is the best route to go. 7 matches. Do the old route. And then if there's one match on that show that you don't care to see, that's your bathroom break. Or if they do a meaningless segment with a celebrity, like let's say Jelly Roll cuts a promo, or let's say Bad Bunny makes a return, and you don't care for it, use that as a bathroom break. Or if there's a meaningless match, like Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu at Saturday night's main event, go to the bathroom during it. Do it. Number 2, tag team wrestling is dead. Tag team booking is dead. This one is going to be the briefest one out of all of them. I find that Triple H hates tag team wrestling. I feel like Triple H absolutely despises tag team wrestling. More particularly on Monday Night Raw. We don't see tag team wrestling in terms of the tag team division in any capacity unless it involves the great, amazing Judgment Day. Ding! No. Fuck off with that. War Raiders were supposed to rid us of the Judgment Day vortex, and they got shoehorned back in. Now, don't get me wrong, SmackDown is slightly improving on that with the DIY, Street Profits, and Pretty Deadly sort of feud that they've kind of been doing. Motor City Machine Guns getting involved in that as well. They're trying to push Angel and, I almost said Humberto, but it's just Berto now, the team known as Los Garza. They've been doing that the past couple of weeks, but honestly, they could do so much better with that. This is mainly a Monday Night Raw complaint. The tag team wrestling is dead. So I'm not going to waste more time talking about that. Number 1, I feel like we can all say this together. 3, 2, 1. Too much long-term story. Listen, it's okay to have long-term booking. It's okay to book a feud for months on end if it is interesting. If you want a trilogy, it's okay when you make it interesting. And at times they make trilogies interesting. Case in point, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre did a killer trilogy at SummerSlam, Bash in Berlin at Bad Blood. That was a long-term story booked well, and that story was told for like 10 months. But there's so many rematches, or there's so many segments that don't lead anywhere. This was going to be its own separate category, but teasing breakups of tag teams or stables, like the aforementioned Judgment Day, for the past few months they've been teasing a bit of like a civil war with the Judgment Day, or like a breakaway with Finn Balor pissing everybody off, getting pissed off at Dominic, Liv now being pissed with Dominic, Carlito just chilling, doing nothing, stuff like that. What are we doing? Or A-Town Down Under have been teasing a breakup for well over a year now, maybe even more than that, and they're still together. Like nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. The New Day teasing a breakup for months, and then all that happens is they kick Big E out of the group and they both turn heel. That was your payoff long term? If that didn't result in a Big E return at the Royal Rumble, if that doesn't become a Big E surprise return moment at the Royal Rumble, that was meaningless. Because Big E didn't appear on WWE TV ever since he was injured in terms of like something that wasn't a pre-show until that segment when Kofi and Woods were like, you fucking suck, get out. There's so many feuds that also didn't need to go as long as they did. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley is the biggest example. Sure, when they first did the feud, it was interesting. With Liv getting payback on Rhea for injuring her a year in advance. And then Liv taking everything Rhea Ripley ever loved and Dominic Mysterio in the Women's World Championship after Rhea had to vacate it. But then it just quickly dragged on so much. Damian and Finn as well are also victims of this. Bayley and Nia Jax, holy, how many combinations of that can we get? Also, let's not forget the Judgment Day versus literally any babyface on Monday Night Raw period in 2023. The Bloodline story, like, they saw the success of the Bloodline story, a story told over 4 years. They saw how well people liked that and was like, okay, let's do that for everything now. Let's do that for literally every single feud unless it's for a tag team or mid-card championship. Why? Every single feud will either be settled at either SummerSlam or WrestleMania. That's it. Tell me when I'm wrong. Tell me when I'm wrong. This long-term booking shit does not help anybody. It makes people more dragged out. You remember when wrestling used to be cool? And if you miss a show, it's like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I missed that. You miss a show of 2024 WWE, 2025 WWE, sorry. You miss nothing. You might miss a cool Penta match nowadays, because Penta's being presented like an absolute star. Kudos to him. But besides that, you're missing nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I know there's going to be a lot of people being like, oh my god, well, no, this is going well. I mean, Cody and Kevin is going well. Oh, Tiffany Stratton's the champion. It's very great. I fucking hate the way Triple H books Money in the Bank holders as well. Quit with the constant teases if you're not going to do anything. Long-term booking is good only when it is good. Only when you put thought, creativity, and effort into it. And just because the Bloodline story had such great long-term booking, at least in the first half of it, you know, after SummerSlam 2023, it was kind of eh. Especially that reunion. Like, you think a Bloodline reunion would be the biggest thing that Triple H would drag out for months. But no, literally October to November, everyone just forgives each other because, oh fuck, we need a War Games match. I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. I'm trying to fucking quit vaping and it's just getting in my head. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to have to conclude my top 5 criticisms of Triple H and WWE. I know there's going to be some people who don't share the same opinions as me, and that is completely fine. I know there's going to be people that are thinking I absolutely hate WWE, but I don't. I love fucking WWE. WWE, I've been a fan for 8-9 years now. It's going to be 9 years in May. Holy fuck. I'm getting old. So, please, don't accuse me of being a lifeless hater, and clearly you haven't checked out my channel at all because I mainly ranted about AEW more than I ranted about WWE. But since I keep talking about Tony Khan, I figured, well, I might as well do the same for Triple H because I've noticed a lot more problems with his booking nowadays than I've noticed before. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not agree with my opinions, I'd very much love to hear yours down in the comments below. And if you agree with my opinions, leave them down in the comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are also new here, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to turn post notifications on, so that way you never miss an upload. Be sure to check out all the rest of the content on my channel. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this has been your boy, Willie Does Wrestling. I will see you in the next video. Be good people, and peace. Fuck, I need a drink.